Have you ever wondered where the ultra wealthy actually live in Houston, Texas, and which communities are quietly attracting serious money right now? Today, we're going to talk about exactly that, where the wealthy live in Houston, Texas, based on what people actually bought in late 2025, not just old reputations or gossip. HAR's Q4 2025 Hottest Communities Report shows some surprising names on the list, plus a very familiar inner loop luxury pocket that high-end buyers love. If you're relocating or investing, or a seller trying to understand where do rich people live in Houston today and where they're moving next, stick around. Hi, I'm Tello, and I work every day with people who are buying and selling in Houston, in around Houston's inner loop. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 Houston area communities you need to know about if you care about Houston estates and luxury homes and long-term value. Number 1, Brookshire. New money growth on Houston's western edge. Let's start with Brookshire because the numbers here in late 2025 are wild. According to HAR's Q4 2025 Hottest Communities in the Houston Area report, Brookshire ranked number 1 with home sales up 198.7% compared to the same quarter in 2024. That's not a small bump. That's a neighborhood taking off. A total of 227 homes sold, and new construction accounted for 93% of those deals. The average price was about $304,980, actually down 11.5% year over year, and still well below the Houston area average price of $425,535 for 2025. So why talk about Berkshire in a video on Houston's top luxury communities? Because this is where a lot of next wave wealth is starting. You've got buyers who could easily afford older dated homes closer in, choosing instead to drive a bit further west and grab brand new properties with more space, modern floor plans, and builder incentives. As mortgage rates began to ease in late 2025, HAR's chair even said buyers across the area were responding to opportunity in places like this: new homes, better pricing, and more value for the money. If you're thinking about the best neighborhoods for wealthy buyers in Houston, Texas, and you're not locked into the inner loop, Brookshire is where you see people building their own version of luxury. Big kitchens, home offices, meaty rooms, 3-car garages, and good access to the energy corridor. It may not be the most expensive neighborhoods in Houston, but it's one of the clearest examples of where newer money is choosing to plant roots and grow. Number 2, Waller. Land, new builds, and quiet wealth. Next up is Waller, which slid from first place earlier in 2025 to the number 2 spot in Q4, but still posted a 103% increase in home sales over the same quarter in 2024. That's more than double the transactions. Even after a strong run earlier in the year, like Brookshire, Waller's growth is powered by new construction and relatively attainable prices well below the overall Houston average. HAR notes that in Waller and a few similar markets, new homes made up more than 70% of sales. Waller attracts a slightly different buyer profile: people who want land, space, and the slower pace, but who still need to be within range of Houston's job. Some are upsizing from closer in neighborhoods, trading a smaller inner loop home or townhome for something larger with acreage. Others are investors picking up new construction in fast-growing corridors. When you zoom out and ask where the wealthy live in Houston, Texas, today you have to include this kind of quiet wealth. Owners who pour money into big shops, pools, barns, and outdoor kitchens instead of just marble floors. If you're thinking like a long-term investor, Waller's story matters. The 2025 HAR update pointed out that 6 of the top performing communities had average prices below the Houston area's average and median, which means room for appreciation. For buyers who don't need to be downtown every day, Waller has all the early signs of being one of the best neighborhoods for wealthy buyers in Houston, Texas, who care about space and future upside than a big city address. Number 3, Crosby area, water adjacency and lifestyle play. Third on HAR's Q4 2025 list is the Crosby area with an 82.7% year-over-year jump in home sales. Again, a huge move. New construction played a big part here too, with more than 70% of the transactions in some of these high growth markets coming from newly built homes. Prices in Crosby also sit under the overall Houston average, which makes it an interesting entry point for people who want a lifestyle upgrade, bigger houses nearer to the water without paying inner city luxury prices. So where does that fit when you're asking, where do rich people live in Houston? Think of Crosby as the place where a lot of aspirational and mid-level wealth is heading. Folks who want boats, big garages, game rooms, and space for extended family, plus easy access to Lake Houston and San Jacinto River area. They may not be on the same budget as buyers in Royden Oaks, but they're absolutely making real investments and building Houston estates and luxury homes in their own way, just on larger, more affordable land. For investors, Crosby is also interesting because it combines several things the 2025 market loved: new construction incentives and more affordable monthly payments. As rates softened slightly toward the end of 2025, these communities became even more attractive. If you're weighing the best neighborhoods for wealthy buyers in Houston, Texas on a value per square foot basis, Crosby belongs in that conversation. It's not just flashy, but the numbers are strong and the lifestyle is compelling. If you're watching this and thinking, okay, I get it, these aren't just random suburbs. This is where the next layer of wealth is forming, and you're trying to decide whether your money belongs in new growth areas like Berkshire or Waller, or in more established inner loop luxury. This is where one-on-one conversation really helps. Whether you're relocating, investing, or thinking about moving up from your current home, reach out using the contact info in the description. We can look at your budget, your timeline, and your lifestyle, and then compare these hot growth communities with the more traditional Houston's top luxury communities, so you can make a confident decision. Number 4, Galveston's West End, Beachfront Wealth and Second Homes. Fourth on HAR's Q4 2025 hottest communities list is Galveston's West End, which posted a 50% year-over-year increase in home sales. This is where things start to feel a lot more like traditional luxury. Here, you're looking at beach houses, second homes, and investment properties that cater to both full-time residents and vacationers. Prices vary widely, but when you're right on or near the Gulf, you're paying a real premium for that access. If you've ever wondered where billionaires live in Houston when they want to escape the city without flying to Florida, the answer is often they own something on the water. And Galveston's West End is a big part of that picture. You'll find everything from high-end contemporary builds with floor-to-ceiling views to classic stilt beach houses that have been completely rebuilt after past storms. These are true Houston estates and luxury homes in the coastal sense. Lifestyle first, income potential second, tax play third. For buyers and investors, the 2025 data around this area matters because it shows that even in a more balanced Houston market, demand for well-located coastal property stays strong. If your goal is to mix lifestyle and investment, the West End checks a lot of boxes: limited land, emotional appeal, and steady interest from people who want to be near the water. It may not be the absolute most expensive neighborhood in Houston on a median basis, but a per lot and per view basis, it absolutely plays in that league. Number 5, Baytown, Harris County industrial money meets value. Rounding out the 5 communities from HAR's Q4 2025 list is Baytown, Harris County, which ranked 5th. Houston Agent's version of the report notes that Baytown's average price came in around $253,783, well below the metro average, but it still landed in the top 5 hottest communities, but by sales growth. That combination of strong demand and modest price tells you something important about where smart, practical money is moving. Baytown sits in the heart of Houston's petrochemical and industrial corridor, which means a lot of high-income jobs that don't always get the spotlight. Buyers here often prioritize solid construction, proximity to work, and enough space for family, life, and toys, boats, trucks, workshops, over being in the name brand luxury neighborhoods. In reality, that's a huge slice of where the wealthy live in Houston, Texas. People with high incomes and assets who choose function, location, and future appreciation over a River Oaks address. When people ask me where billionaires live in Houston, we might talk about River Oaks, the Memorial Villages, or Westview. But when we zoom out and look at HAR's data on Houston's top luxury communities and hottest markets together, places like Baytown, Harris County tell other half of the story. Wealth tied to industrial stability and long-term investment. It's not flashy on Instagram, but it's very real in balance sheets. For buyers and investors who want to be where job-driven demand lives, Baytown belongs on the radar. It may not headline every most expensive neighborhood in Houston's list, but it's absolutely part of the bigger picture of where the wealthy live in Houston, Texas, when you look at income, not just zip code prestige. If you're listening to this and realizing wealthy buyers aren't just clustered in one or two famous neighborhoods, but spread across these hot growth corridors and strategic luxury pockets, that's exactly the point of this video. HAR's Q4 2025 report is like a cheat sheet for anyone trying to understand where rich people live in Houston now and where opportunity is headed next. If you want help figuring out which of these communities fits your budget, your lifestyle, and your long-term plan, whether that's a primary home, a second home, or an investment, reach out using the info in the description. We can sit down, look at the data together, and build a clear plan for you instead of guessing. So when you hear people talk about where the ultra wealthy actually live in Houston, Texas, the truth is more layered than just one inner loop zip code. You have classic luxury in places like Royden Oaks or Afton Oaks and Memorial West on HAR's luxury list. You have coastal wealth on Galveston's West End, and you have fast-growing, value-driven communities like Berkshire, Waller, Crosby, and Baytown, where the next generation of owners is building serious equity. Together, they make up a much more accurate picture of Houston's top luxury communities and the best neighborhoods for wealthy buyers in Houston, Texas, going into 2026. Thank you so much for watching. If you're thinking about exploring Houston's estates and luxury homes, whether that's a new construction in a hot growth area, a beach house on the West End, or a classic inner loop property, I'd love to chat with you about what's out there right now. Here are some interesting opportunities, especially for cash buyers or those doing 1031 exchanges. And if you're selling a property and thinking about moving into something more passive or more upscale, we should definitely talk about how that transaction would work. I'm Tello, and I specialize in helping buyers and sellers navigate Houston's inner loop neighborhoods. My contact information is in the description below. Whether you're relocating, investing, or selling your current home, I'm here to guide you through every step for a smooth transaction and successful closing. Get in touch with me to know more about Houston real estate and to find out which of these communities might be your next chapter. See you in the next video.